everyone, it's good to see everyone here on the stream. It looks a bit different today, the whole streaming situation. Today is going to be a fun one because I'm not just doing it by myself, but I'm going to be inviting you guys to join in on this stream. And there's a few ways we're going to be doing this. First way, if I can just turn down the volume in my ears of the music, because even though it's not very loud, it is loud to me. But the first way we're going to be doing this is by using Zoom, that little program, to come on and you can ask me questions and things like that. And the second way we're going to do it is by the chat. And the whole purpose of this live stream is so that you can have your questions answered by me and we can have a conversation on here, because I know sometimes I don't feel like we're talking enough, and like especially in a live streaming environment it's difficult to talk. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. It's so good to see everyone here. Hey Kevin, what's going on? Who else have we got in here? Oh, we've got Jean, we've got Bisyang Designer. So good to see everyone in here. And also, if you haven't already, this is part of one of the live streams that I wanted to do, which is all like helping you guys, and we're going to be making this into a members thing soon, in the next few weeks, coming into the next month. So I've got someone wanting to join in on the call here. Now guys, you can join in on the call and I will hopefully get a chance to speak to you by clicking that link down below. It might tell you to download a program, but you don't need to. You just join it and you might come in to the call so I can hear you, if that makes sense. So I'm going to turn off this music now because we don't need it. And we're going to get into the call, and it's going to be cool. It's more like a podcast help thing, I think. So this should be fun. So guys, if you want to come into the call, there's a link down below in the description where you can have your questions answered, and you can send or show me your work from your screen or anything like that. So this should be interesting to see how it goes. It's so good to see everyone in here though, man. And if you enjoy it, make sure you share the stream too. If people want help with creative block, hey Mike Pickett, good to see you, dude. It's going to be a really chill stream. I'm not going to be designing too much, but it depends. It's just I just wanted to do a stream every week, and if that means that I'm going to be streaming with you guys talking or designing, then that is the way we're going to go. Good to see so many people in here. So I'm going to wait a little while. We had someone come in to the call thing, but I'm not going to wait forever. So let me know in the chat if you want to call. Just come in and obviously get a microphone so I can talk to you. Let's read the chat. Good to see everyone in here. Butterman Ranton, he's here today. We've also got Mike Pickett Design. Hey, what's going on? Hi from France from Nathan. Dude, it's so cool seeing so many people in here on the chat. It's really nice to be able to see so many people. Going to get the chat open next to me, makes it a lot easier. Fan of that big shirt, man. Thank you. This shirt's cool. I need to do my top button up like I normally do when I'm on videos. I even got a haircut today. Good evening. Good to see you. Cool. So, guys, if you don't know, go to the link in the description. There should be a link in there, I hope. And if there isn't, then it's a bit weird. But call in. What's happening? Don't forget to go out today. It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. It is a good day. I'm waiting for one of you to come in if you need help with anything. I could talk about a bit more about the iPad Pro. Or in fact, what I can do actually, wait, before I answer any questions, a lot of you guys will be here from the Come Design With Me thing that we did, and we can look at the Come Design With Me, what's it called, the Come Design With Me winner. Let's have a look. So I'm going to go into my videos here. I'm going to see who won on the Come Design With Me challenge, because this should be interesting. I've tried not to look at it. My wife's been telling me who's won in her minds, but I've been trying not to look at it too much. Let me go find out and see what's going on. And I can share my screen with you actually as well. Let me share this with you. So this is where I find out how many people have voted for who. So in the first vote for Come Design With Me, we've had 344 on the top one, and we've probably had a similar amount on the second one, but we've had 139 votes for Pietro and 110 votes for James Webber. Then on the bottom one, we had for Yankee Pearl, we had 136. Oh, dude, you just missed the mark by slight amounts, dude. That's incredible. Well, Pietro, if you're in on this stream, then you technically won the Come Design With Me challenge. So you need to get in contact with me somehow. You guys need to, well, you need to like either call in or something so I can give you what you need, which is your work or your prize, which is the Amazon gift voucher. Cool. Back to just me. We've got someone who's calling in. I'm going to get them to come in. Let's have a look. I'm going to unmute. We've got Harrison's iPhone. I don't think it has a microphone though, which could be an issue. We've got Harrison in here. I'm going to unmute you, Harry. What's going on? Let me just figure out what's going on with the whole audio situation here as well. I've not done this before. Let's have a look. Here we go, dude. How's it going, dude? This is Harrison's iPhone. He might not be able to hear me as of yet, but you are unmuted, my friend. This is cringe. Oh, and he's left this thing, man. He left. It's all good. I'm going to answer some questions from the chat in this ridiculously chilled out live stream that I'm doing right now. In the live control. What's up? We've got a new member. We've got a member from Daniel Doherty. What's up, Daniel? Welcome to the club. So guys, if you have got a question, feel free to use the thing down below. I'll be able to hear you when you come in now, so that should make life easier. But I'm just going to go through some of these questions here, and we're going to see what people think. So I know someone had one. And Lavish D has a question. I've got a question. How do you get clients? It's been almost a year now, but I still don't have any. Oh, so this kind of question is a pretty it's a pretty simple one for me. I get clients because I market myself here online. So like YouTube is a massive place where you can market yourself. And people search for logo design and they see my videos, so people come to me. But not only that, I have like Instagram and things like that. So Instagram is a huge one as well. So when I upload hand lettering work or whatever on Instagram, people generally get in contact. So like agencies or like companies or just people who are starting off new businesses. So like there's not many people who want logos. There's a lot, because more and more people need more and more logos. Logo design is like a huge thing nowadays, and the more people who are starting businesses, the more they need. Cool to see Daniel becoming a member. What being a member gives you is a few perks, but the biggest one I think is the members only live streams that will be happening in the next month. How can I submit my logo for critique? Well, we could do that, to be fair. If you join, the easiest way for me to get your work is if you were to join the Yeah, or we could actually, critique it that way. Naomi's got a better idea, to be fair. Let me go on to my emails to find it. We could just do a logo critique on here if you want, and then a logo redesign. Yeah, so Naomi's just put down in the in the chat a logo critique of what we could do. But we've got someone in on the chat. Hey, what's going on, Vincent? Hang on 2 seconds, man. Hey, dude, what's going on? You're good. Nice to see you, dude. I don't know if we can hear you very much. Have you got a question for us in here on the live stream? Yeah? Yeah, we are. We are live, yeah. How's it going? Have you got a question for me? Oh, for social media advertising. Yeah, so that's a huge part of like branding yourself. So advertising on social media, as you know, is done in a few different ways. You can buy ads and put them on Facebook. Now for designers, I don't know if that's a good way of marketing yourself. Like the best way as a designer to market yourself. Hang on, let me just get this up here. Watch this. There we go. The best way to market yourself as a designer would be to get good work out. So on Instagram, if you don't have an Instagram, you need one, because the work that you're doing on a daily basis is what people are going to be seeing. So when you're creating content online, you're sort of getting yourself seen by other people. Now, a lot of people, like when it comes to social media marketing, I don't think they understand what it is. It's not about having adverts. It's more about having it's like a funnel to get people to see your work. Now, if you want to get people to hire you for your work, you need to get in front of them. And the way that I did it, and I'm from a very small town, where there's not much logo design work, but the way that I did it was I used apps like Instagram, YouTube, Behance and stuff, where people go to see work, and I do work that is shareable. Like creating work that people will share is what's going to get you known within a community, and the brand that you create out of the work that you do is what people are going to respect and see and reciprocate by giving you money, if that makes sense. We got a question here from Ivan. I'm just going to go to Ivan, dude. We're gonna say hello to Ivan for a sec, okay? Ivan, how's it going, dude? Ivan, you are technically live on my channel right now. Everyone seems a bit shocked when they come on. How's it going, Ivan? I can't hear him. I don't think he knows that he's live yet. Ivan, hello. How are you? Have you got a question that I can help? Could you repeat that question? Where would I find people? You can't hear them? Oh, 2 secs. Say that again. Sorry, dude. I just realized the desktop audio wasn't working. But could you repeat that, dude?
Where would you point people starting out? I get lost with your keyboard shortcuts.
So where would I find people?
No. Like learning, starting out, beginning.
Like, sorry, I can't understand your question. It might just be me, but your microphone is really like bassy. Could you repeat it? So where would you find people starting out? Oh, he's off. Well, to answer his question, you'd find people to help you everywhere. YouTube, you've got The Future, you've got me, you've got Dansky, loads of people online. Cool. We're going to go for... I think Ivan. Ivan, how's it going, dude?
Here, let me pause the video here. I think I'm getting double feedback.
This is awkward. Ivan,
Yes, yes.
what's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Great.
All right, cool. I was going between the YouTube and the Zoom, so I was getting thrown off.
Oh, no worries. It happens. Always happens, dude.
Okay. I was asking kind of where you would start out. I've seen you do the logo redesigns and different things like that, but I get kind of lost when you do the keyboard shortcuts or stretching. Maybe in the future, if you could kind of elaborate, or I don't know if you have some older content or a separate channel where you kind of go over guides and how you go through stuff.
So you're asking a question on like how you start out in Illustrator and in design.
Right.
Yeah. So the easiest way to start out is by practicing what you know you're like already pretty good at. So, hey, good to see your face again. Yeah, sorry about that before, but the way that I started out was doing fake projects. And Illustrator isn't the thing that you need to learn. So Adobe Illustrator is just a tool. If you wanted to learn how to, for instance, an analogy would be if you wanted to learn how to write or do calligraphy, it's not all about the pen, it's about the skill behind the pen. So if your penmanship skills aren't up to scratch, you're going to like kind of, it doesn't matter what pen you have, you're going to struggle. So the best way to learn design is not just by, understanding what keyboard shortcuts you have on Adobe Illustrator or in Photoshop. The main thing is to read up on books. Now there's hundreds of books and tutorials and things that you can learn from, like loads of people like me nowadays who are giving advice, and I'm just another designer, But the best way to start out is by doing fake projects. So I just spent like a year or 2 years just designing fake company brands and then putting it out online. And then when I didn't like the work anymore, I would take it offline because I would see a progression, Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Have you got another question?
Yeah. After I do our work, so do you have a list of the books, or where do you get the books at?
Sure. So I do have a list somewhere. So that Amazon influencer thing, they have like a list of things, but let me just quickly find it for you actually. Was it?
Answer any questions.
I'll just find it on here. So the books that I got were kind of like hit and miss a lot of the time, but I'll share my screen so you can see it. It's a bit delayed though. The stream's obviously a bit delayed, but you'll see it in a minute where like if you type in logo design on Amazon, there's tons of books. A lot of them are technically like, inspirational books, so like books that give you inspiration. But a lot of them are old as well. And it's those old style books like Know Your Onions. And, I don't think they sell many of the old ones anymore. But Amazon have got a load of books with like information, and it's all to do with reading. So like all these great designers from the past like 100 years, like were incredibly knowledgeable because of the books that they read, and then they wrote books themselves. So there's a book called Grid Systems. Graphic design is all about using grids, like it's all communication in typography. So knowing your type and using grid systems is like one of the biggest things in graphic design. Specifically logo design, you might want to look a bit more abstract into the books that you want. So like there's tons, like I don't know if you can actually see it very well on my screen, but like logo modernism is just showing you hundreds of, maybe even thousands of like logos from the past, like, I don't know, 100 years or whatever, and it's showing you all these different shapes, and it gives you inspiration. Even like the book below this called Brand Identity, it works super well. Like it's any book on Amazon that you think that like shows something good about logo design is what's going to help you. Does that make sense? Cool, man. I'm going to move on to the next person. which I'm going to choose this guy. But it's so good speaking to you. I'll get everyone to come back and we'll have a conversation in a sec. So thanks so much, Ivan. Legend. You're a legend, man. Hey, what's going on, dude?
Hey boy, can you hear me
Hey,
well?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you. Sorry for the delays,
Oh,
like on the
no
stream.
problem,
It's
no
weird,
problem.
right?
I have all the time. So,
How do you say your name? Sorry,
oh, my name is Chris, basically. Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Tris. Oof.
I was
Cool.
for our live stream, basically, and great job, basically.
Oh, thank you. Have you got a question or anything you want to
Yes,
say?
of course, of course.
Go for it, man.
I'm starting designing, and have got some experience on this. So I started a social media page on Instagram, but it's really tough to get recognized on the competition, because there are millions of
Yes.
everyday posts, and there are very little, very few people that watched my content in the very end. And I want to ask you, what are your tips on really getting forward and getting seen?
Yeah, so this is very similar to what I was saying before, but I think the main thing that we need to look at is how do people see us online. So it's not about how do we get seen, it's all about where do we go to be seen. Yeah, so like a lot of people, like I guess designers, especially those who are new and just starting out, they want to be seen on Behance and they want to be liked within the design community. But in reality, where they need to go is where people are. So Instagram is probably the best place ever, because if you get someone following you on Instagram because they like your work, they are literally carrying you around in their pocket. And
Mm,
your work is going to their screens and they're appreciating it and they're liking it every day. So Instagram following is huge, but not only that, creating like communities around it, making work that is shareable. So the first point would be, go where people are. The second point would be create only things that people will share. So what I try and do in my work on Instagram is, I don't know if you've checked any of it out, but it's like hand lettering work and
yeah.
logo stuff. And what I tend to try and do is only create work that other pages will share, which in turn will broaden my sort of scope, but
Mm,
also it will get it to the people that I need it to. So when I create work, I don't know, for instance, like hand lettering for a weird company, I won't name any, but like a weird company or whatever, someone might share that because I did the work, and then other companies will see that. And you never know who's going to be watching. A lot of talent agencies and creative agencies will be looking at your work. They're going to look to see your progression. They're going to look to see how many times a week you're uploading and if it's consistent and if it's consistently good. So
mm,
to really get seen, it's about getting in front of the people with your work. So it's about giving people value as well, like helping them. So what I'm doing right now for you is I'm not only giving you help, but because of this meeting that we're having, I'm helping other people. And then other people will see that when they type it in on YouTube and they'll go, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about, kind of, about
yeah,
logo design.
that's well said.
I hope it was. I tend to talk a lot. Have you got any other questions, dude? Don't feel like I'm just like battering through it. But
Oh, it's
if you've,
fine. Another thing would be like, I would like to start experimentize with hand lettering, but I have no clue how to do that, because I've never done such thing. I'm more of the guy that will work with vectors on Illustrator and create some simple shape logos and more print media stuff. But I would really like to get more into the hand lettering because I know it's a lot of things.
yeah, so hand lettering is like a beast.
Yeah,
So when the great thing about hand lettering, let's say this, so the great thing about doing hand lettering is that you are forced to learn typography. So that's where it becomes graphic design, where it's communication through typography. It helps you learn about how type is made and things like that. And when you learn that, it can not only help you in your graphic design business where you're doing business cards and flyers and logos, it can actually it helps you all the way around. So hand lettering is a great way of learning compositional artwork, and that's where I came from. So the reason why I love logo type design is because of hand lettering. A lot of my logos are hand lettered, and then they're, you know, customized and stuff, and it takes a while to do. That's like one of the coolest things about hand lettering. But the best way to learn that, I would suggest, would be to practice it every day, because it's an absolute ball ache to try and like learn it in a week in a course or whatever. It's all about showing up every day and just doing it. I did it for years. Don't get an iPad. Don't start on the iPad. Start on paper. And not only that, there's hundreds of books online now. Like, hand lettering is a huge topic for everyone, and anyone can sort of do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So experimenting with hand lettering is a good thing for both graphic design and logo design and hand lettering, but don't spread yourself too wide, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, totally. So that would be from my side.
Has that helped?
Oh, of course, definitely. Especially the recognition part, because I'm really struggling to just get more viewers to see my work, and it really helped me get a brighter picture, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally get that, dude. It's a tough one. You got to show up every day, though. It's hard because everyone wants to succeed, but just make sure you literally keep going every day, posting work, and then never stop learning new things. And you'll see your progression, and people start to notice you, dude. What's your Instagram handle for anyone who wants to know?
Oh, well, it's my nickname here, CEO, and then Designs.
So your name is
CEO.
So type it in on the chat, dude. People will check you out.
Great, I'm gonna do it.
Awesome, man. It's good speaking to you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Totally.
No problem. See you soon, man.
See you soon.
David Pruitt.
What's up, dude?
How's it going, man?
Oh, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Isn't this a bit different?
This is different. I like it.
Hey, you're live, just so you know.
Oh, sweet. Hi, everybody.
This is David Pruitt, everyone. He is a legend in like every aspect. I saw him in Denver, Colorado. Dude, you came to one of my workshops, right?
Yeah, dude.
It was awesome seeing you there, and it's cool seeing you still here.
Yeah, man. We gotta do something again soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you got a question or anything you want to talk about?
My first question
Go
is,
for
how
it.
is one Will Paterson?
How am I?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that one. It's cutting out a little bit on your end.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just basically asking how you're doing. First
Dude,
off.
I'm good.
Good, man. Sorry, I may not have the best signal. I'm leading worship at a big conference, so I'm just kind of chilling, waiting for that. So,
This is insane.
So the only other question I had, and maybe you already answered it, and if you did, I apologize.
No worries. Go for it.
But my biggest question was if you have any good resources or books or anything on visual branding, like setting it up. The reason I asked that is one of the biggest things I saw a lot in the Tech Now Challenge was the presentation, like the selling for the clients.
Yeah.
And that definitely seems like something that a lot of people either have questions about or we're just kind of curious as to how one should sell the presentations a little better. So if you haven't already talked about that.
Yeah, dude, that's a really good question, actually. Yeah, something that I've been really relaxed on the channel is the presentation side to it, because, like, it might just be me, but I just get bored by it. Like, but I'm not going to, like, take it out as, like, something that's it's boring, because it's really not. There's so many books around that as well. So a lot of them are just to do with the art of selling. If you were to listen to podcasts or books, like the way that I learned to present my work is not from someone telling me exactly what to do, but it was from someone like, I think it was Gary V, who was talking about selling your art, like selling how to sell and what people want to see. Something that I need to do actually is, and it's given me an idea, is talk about presentations, because I use like, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Paper by WeTransfer. This website where you can create cool presentations really quickly with your work. And that helps you sell the design. So the only books I can really think of are probably, if you go to Logo Geek, he has got like not books but like a lot of resources on his page, on the Logo Geek page, where he talks about packaging and presentation and, you know, how to present this logo to the client for it to be good. But what I will do though is I will message you back with this other book that I can't think of right now. It's a yellow and it's an orange book, but yeah.
Yeah, dude, that sounds fantastic. Because yeah, it definitely seemed like something that, because gosh, man, when it came to the actual design stuff, like everyone killed it. They did a great job.
Insane, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was pretty blown away. Like so much so that I thought about like sifting through that 4-hour video as well as the other videos and like coming up with like a case study book to give to everybody that would want one.
Yeah, dude, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, man, I think that would be kind of a cool thing. And then just another way for people to not only see their work, but also see it like weighed like visually with everybody else's, because that was one of the coolest takeaways for me, was just seeing how many different directions people went, but also like how many similarities there were.
Yeah.
Without anybody really having a conversation. It was like just one brief. It didn't really tell anybody like what to do. Just kind of said, hey, here's what I need, do it, you know? And so it was really cool.
I think the coolest part was just seeing everyone band together with it and like joining in on something like that can be a bit, you know, stressful, especially when loads of people will be seeing your work. And but it's all designed to get us to be better designers, you know. It's all designed so we can look at everything that we're doing ourselves and say, oh, how did this person do it? How did they take that, you know, and do something, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, that was my question. Dude. You're doing a great job. Everybody, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Shameless plug for Will. Buy his
Thank you.
Buy his brushes on his website and all that good stuff if you haven't already.
Dave, you legend. Thank you so much. If you don't know David Pruitt, he posted some work for Come Design with me, and I'm going to do the vice versa to him. So go and subscribe to him. He'll no doubt put his in the chat, and Naomi might put his Instagram tag or whatever his handle in the chat. Go follow him on Instagram. He one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, but also an amazing designer. Good to speak to you, David.
All right, y'all.
See you soon, man. Cool. Who's next? Let's go for this guy. Hey, what's going on, dude? Oh dear, what's going on? Hey man, how's it going? Dude, your connection's a bit bad at the minute. I can't really hear you very much. At all, really. Hi. You are live, but I can't hear you. So I might have to skip over. Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you. No, I can't hear you. Sorry, dude. We're going to have to skip over. Just hang on. We'll make sure your connection's going good. But sorry, dude. If you put it in on the chat, let me know in the chat and then we can help answer the question. Cool. Next one. What's going on, dude?
Hi, mate.
How's it going?
Fine. Kind of excited, but fine.
You're excited? What about?
I'm talking with you, and I kind of follow you a lot on YouTube, and I'm also not a native speaker because I'm from Italy, so I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. But
no, dude, it's all good here. It's all good here. I'm not a very good speaker, and I'm English.
No, okay. Yeah, I got just one kind of big question, which is I'm not a professional logo designer and I suck at drawing, so I do kind of minimal logos, things like that. And I've done some works and I've been paid by some companies. That is kind of been about 1.5 years, and I didn't receive any kind of call from any company. So I'd like to know what should I do to sell my works, if I have to post more on my Instagram account, if I have to contact companies, use certain website and things like that.
Well, have you got your Instagram handle on you so I can see it?
Yeah, I always forget if I add underscore or normal hyphen. So okay, holmes.ph.
If you have you got it for the
I
chat
Yeah, of course. Everyone chat, right?
so I can see it, and then I can show, so we can talk about it a bit more.
Logos and photos because I do kind of both.
Cool. Right. Well, 2 seconds. Let me just sort this out. I need to find it on Instagram before we do anything.
I
But
sent both on everyone and your chat, private chat. I don't know if.
oh, you sent it on the chat as well?
Yeah, I sent it on your chat and onto everyone.
Cool. Well, let me just search for you. Is this for Instagram, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got the link? Because, like, I can't seem to find you.
Yeah. Just
Thanks.
2 seconds.
No worries, dude. Thanks for joining the call.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
It's cool. I thought it would be a bit different.
Yeah, I was right. What I'm gonna talk you with Will, okay. I was kind of overwhelmed, but okay. Send you link.
Cool. Right. Let's have a look at the live screen. Cool. So this is so you do logo design and photography, yeah?
Yeah, both like as an amateur, but yeah.
Cool.
And I've sold some of these logos for something like, also the biggest one was like $150. So it was nice. It was a nice payment, but I now can't find some more work, and I wanted to have some advice on what can I do.
Sure. So I think the main thing is that your Instagram is a bit different. So if you're wanting to sell logo designs for if you want to be a logo designer,
yeah,
then you've got to basically have only logo designs on your page.
Okay.
Because what Instagram's really weird at is if you have like other things on there, like for instance, mine is hand lettering and logo design. If you have other photographs on there, it can confuse people to know who you are. They just think that that's your social media. But if you were to get yourself as a brand, so like branding yourself is, I think, what you need to do. So for instance, when you think of my name or you see my work, you see my name and my work together. You don't really see pictures of me, or even, doesn't matter how good the pictures are, but for me, you don't really see any personal pictures.
Yeah, of course.
Because what I'm doing is I'm getting people to see my brand from me, right? Yeah. And I think for you, in the same way, one thing you can do, because there's a few things that I think I could recommend. So on Instagram, only post work that you're wanting to do. So for instance, logo design. Don't have a separate Instagram if you want, that is for personal pictures or for your photography side. So that's one thing you can do. The second thing is, have you ever like created a like a portfolio of work that is talking about how you tackled a creative brief before?
No, I haven't actually. I use mainly Instagram as my portfolio, but actually,
sure,
that I think about it, having photos and logos is not very, very clever for me. From me.
Well, I think what the idea was clever, but I think when it comes to creating or getting people to want to buy things from you, like a service like logo design, which is difficult, and it is difficult. It's not easy. Yeah. A lot of people think it's easy. Like if you live in LA or whatever, it could be ridiculously easy. But online, and especially in this like saturated market of creatives, it's important that we not only show the work that we're doing, but to give people the opportunity to see how we challenged ourselves. So what companies will look at, if I was to get you to design a logo for a company that I've made, I would say, well, what other work have you got to suggest that you could tackle on this challenge? So what I do is on my website, if you go have a look after this, I've got a portfolio section where I talk a bit about my case studies. So if even if it's a real client, I'll in my portfolio, I'll talk about the challenges and the goals that I had to complete for this design. That is what clients are looking for. They're looking for good work, a good personality, but also to show that you can do the work. They don't really look for your degrees or qualifications, although those things can help. It's more about having the sort of the gumption about you to show that you are good enough because you did this. And on the internet, you can't get people to expect or have an expectation of you're good at something. You have to literally show them why. And that could be through case studies on your website or linking it from your Instagram, or what I call curating your Instagram. You've got to curate it to only show work that you would like to do so that people can follow you for what you do best. Does that help?
Yeah, of course. But just my main concern is that I don't study for logo design. I study physics, and I do logo design kind of for fun. So
Yeah.
I can't be consistent, as you said before. You should be consistent by posting on your Instagram, kind of having a schedule of posts, and I don't have it, and I won't, I think, ever have it, because I do whatever is in my mind. I think, okay, this logo could be good for this company, maybe also for a company that already exists. But if I don't have any ideas for a month, I won't post for a month. So
Sure.
it's kind of hard to get my Instagram posts regularly.
Well, that's it. It will be hard. And I don't think even posting regularly for you is an option, is it? Because you want to do it on a more fun level.
Yeah,
right?
I kind of do it on a more fun level, but if a company asks me a logo, or for example, I found an app on the Play Store and that a really bad logo, and emailed them, and they said I sent them some work. They said yes, and I worked for them, but it's not like my job, and I don't want it to become my full-time job. So
Sure.
different from, I think, what you and other designs do.
Sure. No, I get you. I think it's a hard one. So to gain even it's the question on how to gain a client. Is that what you're trying to ask? Because it's kind of difficult for me to answer that, because if you don't want more clients, then it kind of gets complicated, right?
Yeah, it's like if there is a way to gain more popularity and gain clients, because if I get clients, I can then think,
Sure.
okay, I'm gonna do this logo, or I won't do it because I don't have time or the idea. But if I don't get any clients at all, it's kind of...
Well, that's the thing. So I think you're like the perfect fit for using other websites. So instead of creating a brand where you'll have people always wanting work from you, maybe you could go on like websites like People Per Hour, or like even the Fiverr Pro. And that's not a bad thing, because like if you don't want to keep getting doing it for a job, all the time, every day, day in, day out, if you don't want to do that, that's cool. I think the only thing you can do though is to offer your services directly where people are looking to buy them. So like Fiverr Pro or People Per Hour.
Fiverr was a bad idea, because you can find logos for $5, and I think that's kind of...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those things that Fiverr have actually changed a lot in the past few months. It's insane.
I didn't know that.
No, it's cool. I think the main thing for you though is that if I wouldn't suggest it to anyone doing it full time. Fiverr is not good for anyone who does it full time, or does it professionally at full time. I think that if you're just wanting, a side hustle, like you want to do it because you enjoy it every now and then, and you might take on a project for whatever, then Fiverr would be a great place for you.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it helped a lot. Thank you.
Dude.
Thank you so
No,
much.
have you got any other questions?
rest I'm gonna just enjoy the stream.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It's
you, and
so cool.
everyone subscribe to Will. If you haven't done that, okay, I'm copying the game before, but just subscribe to him, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That would help. The YouTube algorithm is insane at the minute. Okay. Right, we're going to go to Ice and see what he's thinking. Hello, Ice.
Hello there.
How are you?
Do you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry I can't really provide a cam.
Oh, dude, it's cool. How are you? Oh, dude.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good, dude. This
I'm
is
just
like, this is all part of the growing pains of getting people in my streams.
Yeah, so I'm from the Philippines.
Oh, yeah? How is it over there?
So I'm so speechless right now. I'd like to really say that you started what my career right now. Yeah, you sparked my inspiration and my um yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
dude, that's cool.
I am a multimedia arts student here in my country, and I am starting my career in branding. So my question is, what is your advice when it comes to starting out, like plain nothing?
Ah, this is a hard one. So my first advice would be to look into every company around you that does what you're wanting to do. If you we are humans are very, sociable, as you know, we're all talking right now. And I think if you're coming from nothing, like you actually don't know what the software is that you need to do the work, it's important to get yourself around in communities, whether that's online or offline, communities where you can talk to like-minded people. So a lot of people think it's very, difficult to get into design now. It takes years of practice, and of course it does. But I think that the creative community online with graphic design is a huge thing, and it's got people of every level. The first thing I would suggest is before learning anything, get yourself into a community of people and let them know. So there's so many on Facebook, like, Ryan Bowles, Logo Geek, like other channels on YouTube. They've got loads of people who are just willing to learn little bit by little bit. And if they don't know much, it's all about using what they've got in front of them. If they've got a mobile phone and they can search the internet for great work, or if they can search the internet for, things that teach them how to use software, use that. If you've got money for books, buy that. Like when you first start, it's probably the easiest time to learn because you don't know anything. So learning something every day is not going to be difficult. You're like a sponge, right? So that's what I would say.
Maybe I kind of messed up my my info, but
It's cool.
I know how to use Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and everything like that. I was thinking of the question, and maybe what would I do to really raise a brand?
What would you do to raise a brand?
My brand as an artist.
Cool. So this seems to be like a recurring theme, right? So a brand as an artist and a designer is probably one of the easiest to do now because although there's thousands of people who are very good at design, I think it's really easy to do because you just have to show your work and turn up. The easiest way to start a brand is obviously create content online that people like and that people share. Maybe not what people like, but creating content that people will share with other designers online. I think it's a huge misconception when people think that to become a brand you need like millions of dollars and you need to have Facebook ads and things. I don't think that's true at all. I think with yourself people like you, because it's not just you in your situation. There'll be a lot of other people who are like, how do I actually, do this whole brand thing for a designer? How do I get people to notice me and, see me as a brand? I think it's all about getting to where the people are. And I've said this like 3 times, but I think it's important to know that when we're trying to get in front of people, we need to, one, be there when it's a trending topic. So we need to have our opinions out there and our thoughts. And 2, for yourself, if you're wanting to become a brand as a designer or someone who's like a content creator, it's important to post regularly. But not only that, it's to do work and give them to companies. So if you wanted to get a brand out there tomorrow, it's what you do today that will get the brand out there tomorrow. Maybe I didn't explain that one right. What I say, let me repeat that bit in a better fashion. I always say the work that I do today is what I'll be getting paid for in 2 years' time, because it's the foundational groundwork for what I'm going to build in a couple of years' time. So the foundational groundwork of what you could do now, so you are noticed next year, is by putting like schedules in place of, I'm going to post this content on Instagram. I'm going to design this website for my brand. I'm going to write an article every week on my website, and I'm going to, interview other designers. I'm going to, all these different things where you can, like, as a brand, get yourself known. Now, if you're wanting to brand yourself as someone who is a designer who does services, kind of like myself, like someone who actually walks the walk and talks the talk, does the whole thing, it's about showing your availability. So tutorials are a massive one, courses are another massive one, but not only that, just getting yourself known by the right people in the industry, like companies, and like getting yourself work and then telling people how you got that. It's all about providing value, if that makes sense.
All right. You said so yourself that you need a community to really know you, right?
Yeah, community.
Here in my country, my name is not really that unique, and it's kind of common. My last name and my first name. So, do you think that your name or your brand name could affect how you could promote your brand? Maybe.
Not really, no. Because I guess to some degree it can. I'd be silly saying no, but obviously I don't know any names from the Philippines or anything. But what I know is that I started using my personal name for my brand, and Will, or William, which is technically William, is kind of like it's a pretty used name in the world. There's a William Paterson University in America, which is weird, but that could have affected me negatively, that having someone else having that name, or like if it was a common name, it could affect you. But in reality, I think it's just more of a competition side of things. So if someone else called Will Paterson and they were doing exactly what I'm doing, that's when it becomes a problem, because people get confused, and that's when I would change my name. But because my name's Will and no one else really does what I do who are called Will Paterson, then it doesn't matter. Do you reckon there's a lot of designers with your name in the Philippines?
I think my last name is that common, De La Cruz. It's very common here in my country.
Yeah.
But my first name, I think, is very unique. It's just my last name, which is very, very common here. Do you think
Don't change it, dude. Don't change it.
like provide a screen name or what?
No, I said don't change it. Don't change it at all. I don't think it's like if you've got a very like unique first name and then a common last name, that's probably a good thing. Because like people will be searching for you, right?
Yeah,
You might only need to use your first name. It's really up to you. Like, it's a tonality of who you are. Like, when I was younger, and in the design community now, a lot of people have heard of my name in the design community, and that's because of the work that I've done. So I got my name out there. So when you talk about getting your name out there in like communities or in professions, you know, it's really about getting that name that you've already got, you yourself and your like personal brand out there. Like, it doesn't really matter behind the name. A million other people could have it, and you might need to change it to be more unique down the line. But just start branding yourself as who you are now, especially if you've got like a unique first name.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. I think, yeah, my name's kind of unique here in the Philippines. It's Isaiah. Just shorten it to Ice.
Isaiah,
Yeah,
it's a cool name.
thanks. So I think for my last question is, uh, how would you raise your followers from nothing? So I'm trying to uh, build this page for myself for my career, and I'm starting off with nothing, no likes, no followers, or anything.
Sure. So you're trying to, so you've got no followers at the minute on that page, right?
Yeah. So how would you really promote that?
Um, well, that's a difficult one. I mean, it's the same thing I've been saying before. It's all about this principle of consistency. So there's a lot of people who are trying to make it on Instagram. Like at the minute, I think I've got like 50 something thousand people on my Instagram, and I have not like told anyone to follow it. I've just put work up there every few, like before, like last year I was posting like work like, you know, every week on there, and that was like, or every day even last year or the year before that. And people just saw it. The Instagram started pushing me out to other people and they're recommended and things like that. You know, people just saw that. But when it comes to like Facebook pages or other pages like Instagram pages, and you're trying to get people to follow it, people will follow what they get value from. So you've got to be the viewer for a second. Like, for instance, in my YouTube channel, I hope that the content that I put out is worth subscribing to because it's helping you, because you're entertained by it. So like, you've got to ask yourself the question, like, you know, when I put this out, is someone, one, going to find it valuable? Two, are they going to, would they like to subscribe to see more of this? And three, is it helping them like in any way? Because a lot of people like the fact that they're getting help, and when they do get that help for free, they reciprocate by subscribing or following. So my suggestion for you would be to write articles or to post things that help other people in the same situation, or to, you know, write things that are interesting. So provide value. So like if you could think of your biggest secret in design, or, you know, in whatever the page is about, and you knew that this, like, oh, if someone knew this like online of how to do this sort of logo design or whatever, if you knew that, the best thing to do wouldn't be to sell that, it would just be put it online. Like, get other people to see your content so they could feel like they're getting value from you. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, I understand.
I think I minced my words a bit there. I butchered what I was saying, but like,
I understand your thought. Yeah.
oh, dude, it was really nice speaking to you. I'm going to go through the other people on the Zoom in, dude, but it was awesome speaking to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It helped me really. Yeah.
No, thank you. It's awesome having you here, dude. See you soon, Ice. Cool. All right, next person. Let's get on here. I don't know how many more I could do, but here we go. Hello again.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, dude. How's it going?
Finally, it's good.
Sorry, dude. How are you?
I'm great. Let me say, I'm a huge fan. I love
Thank
your
you.
work. I've been following you since a long time, and you're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you're amazing, but thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. So, my question would be, I'm working on something right now. So, I am a mechanical engineer, but then something I do on the side is graphic design, and
Sure.
I use that to support. I mean, I'm thinking of using that to support my college, so we'll see where that goes. And then, so there's a project I'm working on right now, and right then, you started your live stream. So could I have your opinion on that?
Of course, yeah. Go for it, dude. Can you share your screen?
Yeah. So this is it's a logo for a dairy company. So let's say it's a dairy farm that's going to start now.
Oh,
So
dairy farm.
yeah.
Cool.
So the name is M&M.
Cool.
So there's a couple concepts I've been working on.
Okay. What do you want help with?
So, how do I make this better?
Oh, cool. So first thing is you know what the silhouette of the cow.
Yes.
I would try and add something into there so it's not just one silhouette.
Okay.
I mean, it does work. The logo is really good though, dude, by the way. Like, I like it already. But I don't want it to look like a country in any way. That would be my take. I mean, what I'm going to say to you now is just personal preference. But the icon, I prefer the one at the bottom with the bit more like detail in it. But I would not use thin lines. I would use thicker and bolder lines, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then for the top one, like for the typography in there as well, change the typeface of the typography or get rid of it, because I don't think you need that in there. I think it can complicate it a little bit too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it needs to be in there though, I would just change the type.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot, actually.
Oh, dude, have you got any other questions for me? I know you've been waiting for ages. I've seen you've been waiting for ages, dude, like up at the top.
So there's all some other logos that I want to have your opinion on. So there's this. It's a mock-up logo. Something I've hoping to put on my portfolio.
Dude, that's nice.
Thank you.
I think everyone can see it. Let me just expand this so people can see it a bit more. There we go. Dude, that's nice. I like it. I like the red and the black. I think if you were to do two different versions for that, it would make it better, because
There's actually a couple versions for that. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
This was
Dude.
my process mostly.
Dude, that's some cool logo that you got going on there. I think one thing that I would be wary of, like something to think about a bit more, would probably be what would it look like in black and white? But
Okay.
that being said, obviously, depending on where this logo is going, it might never be in black and white. So it looks amazing. I'll give you that. It's a really creative and simple idea and concept. I think I prefer the top one is really clean and professional. I think if you were to do another version of that, so don't get rid of it, but do another version where if you were to print it in black and white, you've got a space between the P, if that makes sense. So like an actual negative space. So instead of like just a different color, you have like a space away from it, and you'll be surprised. It'll help if it's very small as well, depending, because if you print that on like a hat or embroider it, it might be hard because it's all in one color and you can't really differentiate it. But I really like it, dude. The typography as well at the bottom, just pick a nicer typeface, pick something a bit bolder, you know.
Yeah, I have a problem with finding typefaces. I need some help with typography as well.
Oh sure, go for it. What's the problem?
I don't generally have good, taste in typefaces. There's also one more thing. Just 1 second.
No worries.
Yeah, so I'm working on a logo for myself, and I made this for my personal logo.
Ah, cool.
How is it?
I like it. I think, is it supposed to be just a pen?
Yeah,
like a pencil,
kind of
yeah?
thing, yeah.
I like it. I think it looks unique.
Yeah. So I was hoping to start a blog kind of thing on the side. I write actually. I'm kind of a creative writer, so then there's that.
Oh sure, yeah, no, that's cool. So I think the logo looks nice. I think the only thing with it would be you see the nib of the pencil,
Mhm.
like the little
Mhm.
bit. Make that so the line, the negative line, is thicker, because when that's smaller, you're not going to see it too well.
Okay.
If
Okay.
that makes sense. It looks amazing though. I like the idea, dude.
Cool. Okay.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Uh, no, that's pretty much it. But I was hoping to find some good fonts for the logo as well to write my
Okay.
name in. So, would you suggest any fonts or maybe some reading material for typography itself?
Maybe if you so have you ever heard of Adobe Typekit?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah, go and have a look on there, because you can actually narrow down your search on Adobe
Mm-hmm.
Typekit for like a certain type of font that you want. I think a lot of the time we can think too much about it. Just pick something that is clean and professional, that looks like the icon. It's got something that's got the same characteristics as the icon, if that makes sense. So where it's thick, bold and works. It's just something that looks professional. Don't think too much about it is what I would say. Cool, dude. It's awesome speaking to you. I'm glad the mic worked.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Finally, it did.
Nice one, man. Right, I'm going to call some other people, but thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, sure. You've been amazing. Can I email you sometime if I have something?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries, man. See you soon. Hey, Kyle.
How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I've been watching you for a very long time.
Oh, dude. Unreal. What
I
was the first video?
I actually sent you in when you were doing like the logo critiques. My logo, but it never got chosen, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. You get so many people sending things in. It's so difficult to keep track of.
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to have a look at it now?
Sure, I could show you, and then I quickly want to show you. I'm actually coding a website because I have to pick up another course, and then I'll have my diploma in graphic design.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'll just share my screen here.
Yeah, go for it, dude.
I have like 6 desktops open, so because
Yeah?
I'm working on like things as
Oh,
I go.
whoa.
So like this is the website that I'm coding for myself, like from scratch. Can you
Oh,
see?
yeah. So I'm trying to get it so that people on my stream can see it. There we go. That's better.
So this is kind of, you can read this over.
So, okay, yeah.
So that's I'm kind of I branded myself as a not, which is like a persona that I created for myself to help explain my creative process more, instead of just doing it as my name, because lots of people just do the name.
Okay, this is interesting.
So I came up, and then I wanted to first, like, this is like the landing page, so like you would go and it would load up, right? And
Yeah.
then you'd come to here. This would be the first thing you'd see.
Oh, cool.
And then this is my logo up here. It's kind of small, but it's kind of like a knot. I could bring it up larger.
Sure, yeah, bring it up larger if you can, 'cause it's hard for me to do it on my screen. Hang on.
I'm going to
Boom.
I'm actually gonna just bring it up here in my material here.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
So it's like this.
Your screen's sort of frozen for me right now. Not too sure why.
Resume share? I don't know. Oh.
Maybe if you were to stop it and restart it again. Oh, no, there we go. I can see it. Whoa, crazy. There we go. Dude, that looks unreal.
So this is like that, because that's the name that I came up with, A Not, because I'm Canadian and A is Canadian.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
So my question was what, like, because it's like you kind of see it's a knot here, that's why I named it that. And
Sure.
for the fact, my question was, what do you think of this whole notion that I'm trying to create this inner brand for myself from this?
I think it's really clever. I've not really heard of that before, to be fair, as well. Which, like, in itself, having a persona that is your brand instead of it being you is like one, really honest in the sense of like, you know, we all have a persona, but you're owning that as your brand, and it creates this element of interest around you. Makes me interested in you, not in a weird way, but you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, because I actually did have this. I played around with the angles of it, and like I wanted it to be like kind of like a knot. I don't know if you can
Sure.
see it coming together here, but like I had it looking like, because if you were to turn it, like it could, the different like ways you could rotate it. It could be a Y, it could be a K. Like say if this was flipped upside down, it would look like a Y.
Sure.
You could flip it to the right, it would look like a K if the Y was coming out this way.
Okay.
Like that, and that's how I had it. But for it to look more like a knot, I thought this was the best solution.
I think you might. The only thing that I have with this, and I've only just seen something, is that it kind of looks like a tail fin of a dolphin or a whale, but that's maybe because it's so symmetrical. Like, you know, knots are symmetrical, but generally in the middle of a knot, there's kind of like a ball.
Yeah.
You know, there's a place where it's not so neatly tied, because it kind of like looks like that, or a tie. So maybe at the end, at the top, you might have to have like a square, rounded square in there. And it might look awful at first, but it's worth an idea to play around, if that makes sense.
Or I could even maybe play around with like these going in and making a knot like around the center.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
Playing around with the lines and have the lines kind of make like overlap, underlap, and like maybe have these lines create a knot in the center here.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense.
But I just kind of like, I like things that are simplistic, and I try, because I always watch you and you always say it's about what you can take away. It's not what, if you can
It's
take it
true.
away, you're taking it away. You're not adding.
Dude, honestly, that is what it is about. It's all about what you can take away in the design. I think a lot, because we're creative people, so creative people generally get all like het up about, you know, oh, it's not creative enough, it's too simple. Like I did a video the other day, actually my last video, which was about a what is it, like some guy sent in some work, a 14-year-old kid sent him some work of like the Hungry House, and I was going to redesign it. So I redesigned it, and it was just super simple redesign where I just went, nah, sack this. I'm just going to, you know, house with a H in it, and then, you know, with Hungry House all together in bold. And it, in my mind, it worked. But I got a lot of flack on my channel for it not being too creative. But at the same time, not a lot of people gave me flack. It was myself. Like I was saying, you know, this design is probably not my best because it wasn't creative enough. But now I look at it and I'm going, well, actually, it works and it does the job effectively as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, like the final thing in the graphic design program that I was in was you would walk into a room and it was a pass or fail, and it's you would have your, like, I will actually bring it up here. So there was this, you had to create like a resume that you would bring in,
Yeah.
as well as like this. So there was two industry people and one teacher. Like that's, I'm just telling you the process. I don't know.
No, go for it, man.
But so I had all this stuff for them all printed out with my business cards. Like these are my business cards, just something simple like this, a square card.
Sure.
So I would bring them all in, and it's this whole presentation, and I have the sheets, and they said how to improve this would be to have like different angles on these, because this is what I would show them, and I'd be talking about it while I show it on screen like a presentation.
Totally.
So these were like how I laid things out. So like I first explained that whole persona, why and I created it that way. And then I went through the projects that I did in school. So this would be like kind of like a full app, like station, like a magazine that I created for this app that I would like that. This was like one of the big projects, like a year end project that had both an application or desktop component you kind of see here, and then I break it down into like this kind of like UX and UI sort of stuff, like how the screens are going to be laid out.
No, I get that. Yeah, that's cool.
But I think their main concern was like they wanted stuff like this, like zoomed up, high def.
Yes.
Like that. You know what I mean? Like that's
That makes sense though, dude, because a lot of the time what people look for in design is the typography.
Yeah.
Because, as you know, it's not just about presentation, it's about how you present the type. Like, how do you come up with your typeface choices? Like, was it just super simple, something that you wanted to do, or did you want to, create a really funky composition for the typography to be in? It's all. I think a lot of these guys want to see that, if that makes sense.
They were saying like it would be more interesting, like if I were like showing like this, for example, which was like more of like a report. Where I had to do lots of layout and stuff like that. Like you see like a trend, I have like mock-up, then I show it flat. And like flat again. I think they were wanting more of like an inside look, like to add more variation.
Right. Maybe next time then you could like compromise on that. Because like a lot of in design, because we're not artists, we're sort of just designers. We've got to like see what people want to see and then compromise on that sometimes, if that makes sense. So compromising with next time you do that, now that you know that they want to see the inside, so you can have the overall image, right? And then like in the middle or in the next image, you could have the closed up version, where you properly get in there. So it works for you and it works for them.
Right.
If that makes sense. Because that's a different perspective that you've gone for, yeah? Where like, you can go out and then, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And my other thing was I just wanted to get your opinion on also this website, how I have it functioning. Because I want to be so unique, and it's hard to like differentiate yourself in terms of like how things are moving around, or like what's going to be the new sort of wave of how websites are created. But
sure.
My sort of take on that, so you can kind of see how I have. Oh, it moved it to the bottom. That's nice. So it when you press things like this, just takes you to the home page, and then this, I have a little animation here.
Yeah.
This is like keep in contact. So when you press this, it's on the left hand side, so it kind of swipes you over. It doesn't reload a new page.
Okay,
it's all one big page.
I think what I like about your site is it's very minimal. The only issue that I would have is that if I was to see that right there, I have no idea what's going on. I've just got this and this isn't taking anything away from your choice here in design, because I understand exactly what you're trying to do. But the only thing that I see is a weird logo at the top left, so small that it doesn't really make sense, and then some words in the middle. Maybe what you need to do is get it so your name EndNote is one of the first things that they see, so as a functional aspect to it, because I understand exactly what you're trying to do with having the minimalistic nature being unique. And like obviously the transition, by the way, was awesome into different pages. That's insane. I love stuff like that. That's what's going to deliver on with clients and people seeing that. But yeah, maybe something where your logo and your name is first visible as a part of the hierarchy of the needs of a designer, or the client. They want to know who you are at first, before you jump into like a paragraph. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it will be because I kind of do have this as the loading screen. So
yeah.
You see that, but they don't see the logo anywhere there until here.
Sure.
I
And it
have
looks different, right?
yeah, that's kind of like my typographic logo, you would call it as of right now.
Sure.
Um, I I see what you're saying, but like I think I was just this would work well. I think if I was more well known, like if I was out there more and my logo was like something that people would know is me. You know what I mean?
Sure. But what I'm saying is like it probably won't work right
Right.
now because
Yeah.
of that. Because like it doesn't even work for me. Like I'm surprised no one really asks me what my logo is.
I didn't even know you had one. I thought it was just the script logo.
Yeah, that's it. No one really knows what I've got. I've got nothing. But that's the thing, because my face is my logo. Let's hope I never lose my face. But like with this logo at the top left, although it looks amazing and stuff, my functionally, if we bring it right back to functionality,
Mhm.
is it going to serve you best having it there, or is it going to serve you best in the loading screen having it next to your logo type?
Yeah.
As well. So I think that would work then. If you were in that loading screen for long enough where they could see it. It's just because I don't want people to go, whoa, what's happening on this website? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of a lot of clients, they're not stupid at all. They're not like us. They don't see things that we see. So we have to be pretty literal sometimes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So then like I made it as a it's a full page. You're seeing it as a full page, and that's how it's able to glide to like these. Like even when you press case studies, it
Yeah.
goes straight down because this one is
Oh,
underneath
dude.
this. And then there's like subtle animations. I had my friend kind of help me because I'm kind of new to code and I'm learning too.
Sure.
But I had these ideas all drawn up in XD.
But dude, the animations are really nice. I like how minimal it is.
So this is when you kind of saw there. I'm more so just trying to get your opinion on it functionably. So like this is kind of how I have it, because these are the projects and the project names.
Sure.
So once you press one, like say we were to go to that parallel one, it would come here, and you could do it like this, and check it out.
That makes sense.
And then
I think the only issue, I totally understand what you're saying with the functionality. If you have to ask a question as to whether it's functional or not, that'll probably give you the answer. If you understand what I'm saying.
yeah,
This is like a portfolio piece website, like, which is great.
yeah,
What I would do is don't change this website, but maybe have another one that you can link people to, something that's a bit more standard, still with the same minimalism, but something with a lot more functionality, because there you've got a lot of things that are coming out. You know, your navigation bar is completely like whack in a good way. It's everywhere. It's like up and down, which is really creative, and it's great for people like me and other people. Really well thought out. But maybe if you like in the future, if you're giving this, you know, you wanting to get people to know you as a designer, and like you wanting clients to come on there and to contact you, sometimes you've got to be as literal as to go, contact me, you know, press here, if that makes sense.
yeah. And in terms of like these bigger projects, do you think that I should be including less, like more of the more important shots? Because you know how I have like lots of them now, because like this is a big project where I want to show the various screens that I've developed.
Sure. I think
Yeah.
I think the main thing that I would do personally, I don't know, it's a hard one. I would take the things that you don't need and take it out. So if you don't need to show something, take it out.
Yeah.
Treat it like a design, like a minimal design.
Mm-hmm.
So treat your content on there and what you put out there as you would treat your design.
And in terms of, because a big thing that I want to include on this is I want to include like I want to show the process because it's all about the process, right? So I want to show them, or in terms of like writing, because this was my idea, to show the testimonial as well as like a little description. But I see other people, like, what's it? Like, this is a girl that was in my class.
Sure.
I like hers because she does a good job at giving you little blurbs, like a picture, then a little blurb, or when you go down to the bottom, it's very structured in that it's the title, focus, description. And I want to have a process like this, but I'm not sure what would be the most important things to include.
What in the process?
Yeah, like what would be if you are trying to like hire, like if you're to hire someone or to explain like key elements to your process, like what would help them get to that conclusion that you're trying to get to? Because like
It's a hard one. I mean, I don't think the main one that I would do is just paragraph headings of like, draft, initial idea, meet, draft, initial idea, meet, refine, and then that's it. Because that's just the way that I work. But it depends on how like literal you want to get with people with the process. Like, I'm quite lucky because at the same time I have videos where I just talk about it. But that's a good question, dude. And I don't actually know the answer to a lot of what you said there on the last bit of your website. Like, what do you include in that? And I think a good rule of thumb would be don't include anything you don't need.
Just like the logos.
Just like the logo. Well, that's what design's about, right? That's what you've done there. You've tried to, the idea of the minimalism is to take away anything that's unnecessary. So you give space to the things that have meaning.
Yeah, it could even be maybe me tying this whole process that I am hammering down here into each project.
Yeah, that's it. You could do, like, you could show it in each project and exactly how you did it, and you could do it as a case study of how you did that.
Yeah, like
now that's how you can get known.
Yeah, right.
Well, Jude, I'm going to go and talk to some other people on here, dude, but it's awesome speaking to you, Kyle.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome, man. Have yourself a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Later.
Cool, let's go to someone new. Hello, Nana. Hello. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. How can I help you today? I feel like a nanny on one of these talk show things, but how can I help you?
One of my questions is, so I'm a 17-year-old graphic designer, and one of my questions would be like how to get into illustration and typography.
How to get into it? In what way?
Like, where do you start?
Where do you start? Oh, that's the hardest one. So, actually, it's the hardest one to get people to really grasp. So it's like having a blank canvas, right? So if you're going to paint on a canvas, everyone's very scared of ruining the canvas before they even put the paint on because they don't know where to start. They just go, well, this is really overwhelming. The easiest thing to do if you want to start in this industry of like, illustration or design is just to practice on your own. So reconstruct people's work. So if you see someone's logo that you like, try and create that. You're not copying or stealing, you're just trying to recreate it to understand how they made it. So for instance, like let's say the Twitter logo, like the bird, try and recreate that in Illustrator, work out the tools that you could use in there. And what you're doing is you're backwards engineering a design and you're learning firsthand how they did it through experience. And it's important to do that so you don't get overwhelmed because there's so many different avenues to go down. You could like learn in Skillshare, you can learn on YouTube. There's so many different places you can go to learn these things. But to really get into it and to start doing it yourself, it's all about backwards engineering and just not being too scared of like your work being shown to people. Does that make sense? Doing it by yourself.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I've been trying to get into like illustration because I see how like how beneficial being an illustrator is to graphic designers, especially on like Twitter and like anytime there's
Yeah.
a contest with like J Fuel, people are saying like only illustrators are winning because like illustration is it looks like aesthetically pleasing and stuff. So that's why I was trying to like learn it.
Sure, I think you can. Like, I illustration and design, hand lettering and design, coding and graphic design. You know, there's so many different subsets of where you could go into it. Graphic design is the glue that keeps it all together, holds it all together. And I think in your situation, it's important to go to where the illustrators are. So I'm not an illustrator, but I'm a hand lettering artist. So something that I would suggest for you to do is, obviously you'll be following a lot of illustrators. Follow some illustrators online, email them and ask them some questions on the email as to any burning questions that you have, like how did you achieve this, or you know, what books do you recommend? I think for illustration it's all about trial and error, because you're training your hand and your brain to act in a certain way, or to give you the eye of whether something's good, you know? Does that help?
Yes. I mean, I was mainly focusing on like both of them, illustration and like typography and hand letter, because I feel like if you know all three of them, it'll make you like the best graphic designer.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I think the best graphic designer isn't someone who's good at illustration, typography, and everything else. I think the best graphic designer is the best person for the job. So every job's different. And for instance, if I was to get someone from France to design a logo for a British restaurant, like an English restaurant down the road, that can, like, because they're not from the area, and because they probably don't, they could be the best graphic designer, but because they're not from the area, they might find it difficult to understand the cultural references to that area. So I think depending on where you are in the world, you've got a lot of area or a lot of places where only you could be the best. Do you see what I'm saying? So where you live right now, in your house, you are the best designer in your house right now.
Yeah.
And now when you open that scope, I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you open the scope and you're like in your city, in your town or city, you know, you're the best designer in your town and city because you know the town and city, you know what it needs, you know how you can communicate business needs in that town. So it doesn't matter if the best designer from like, you know, Britain or whatever comes over and says, you know, I'll do this. It doesn't work because you know the city more, you know the cultural references, you know the colors, what would fit, why it would fit, you know. So I wouldn't get too caught up in learning something else to be the best designer, because you have to, you know, increase your skill set. I think if you want to do illustration, it should be tied in with your graphic design, or, you know, your client work if you've got any. But I think it's important to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you do it because you enjoy it. And like, that's the first thing, that you enjoy it. And two, to give your head a break from the other design work that you're doing. Illustration is really rewarding from what I've heard, because you can just do whatever you want. And it looks amazing.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, it's cool. Is there any other questions though?
I wanted you to like critique some of my work.
Sure. Go for it.
Hold on. It's on my laptop right here.
No worries. Show me with your camera.
Okay, hold on. My computer is loading right now.
No worries. How long have you been a designer for?
I just got into it this year.
Ah, cool.
Because like the school I go to has like a graphic design program. So I I've been doing graphic design. I didn't know it was graphic design for like 3 years, because you know when you're a kid you would like make edits and stuff of like celebrities you like.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing, but I didn't know like that was like graphic design. So I just like found it recently.
Right, okay, no, that makes sense. It's the same with me. I used to do weird things as like a child. Like, I'd use my dad's old Photoshop that he used only for images. Yeah, and I'll just make weird text effects.
Yeah.
Quite funny actually. I can't really see your screen at the minute though. I can just yeah, it's all blank.
This is some of my work. I just started like my Instagram. That's why I have like only 44 followers. But this is some of my recent work.
Hang on a sec. What's your Instagram handle?
NANA
Yeah.
NANAWORDIE. This is it.
WOR. Hang on. Let me see it in my thing. I've got too many windows open. Okay, wordy. Cool.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll get it up on the screen so everyone can see it as well. Cool. So this is like your graphic design and illustration work, right?
It's not really illustration. I kind of just made this because I was seeing that like women's sports wasn't really like recognized. Like, a lot of men's basketball is posted, but I didn't really see women's. So I just decided to make this. I decided to make this because I wanted to like give some attention to women basketball players.
Sure. No, that's cool. Like the work that you got here is really nice, dude.
Thank you.
It's really nice. You got someone verified checking you out on there. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's the girl I did the graphic for.
Dude, you got some major props for that one. Like the work looks really good. It's like the colors in there as well are like I don't think I've seen colors like that in a poster. I think the only thing that I would say to improve is maybe the typography at the top. The composition of the women is really good. Like the actual basketball player is really good. But I would just suggest the typography at the top. You could like go a lot more creative within it because you can't really see the end of her name, and I don't know. Tamika, yeah, so I can't really read that too well. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. I was trying to make it like where it was like I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't know. I've seen a lot of graphics like this, and I tried to like imitate them, but
Sure.
I'm thinking about it. You can't really read what it says if you didn't know who she was.
No, it makes sense. Like I think it's the people who will see it will know who she is. I'm just critiquing it from like a functional level, and I think I love the way that you've got the women on there, like the basketball players. I like the colors as well and how it gradients out and the texture that you've got in there. It looks really good. The other one's pretty cool as well. I think with this one, there's a lot going on in it, though. So we need to work out the typography seems to be the issue again here with Kiddy, because it's like black, and then you've got white under the album bit there,
Yes, I understand. I just like my graphic design teacher was telling me that I should use like the colors in the photo, but I didn't want to be like too repetitive because I already used like pink and I already used red, and so like I wanted to choose. And if I chose blue, it really wouldn't look good. So I just chose like black because I didn't know what other color to use.
Sure, no, that makes sense. I get that because like you don't really want to choose blue on there because you've got the center, the actual center mass of the work is blue. So no, I get that. I think I like the work though. I think just keep going, just work on your typographic skills as well. So with illustration, a great way of doing that. Of working on your typographic skills with illustration is like illustrating letter forms. So like hand lettering, yeah?
Yeah.
And I think that could be something you get into. Like like every illustrator, I think, has got an element of hand lettering under their belt. They're really good at it in some ways. Obviously, they're not to the extent of like, designing fonts, but they're normally really good at hand lettering because of what they're learning in illustration.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to do, but I don't really know, like, if I don't know, because I've been like struggling to like start, and because I just started like probably like a week ago, so I don't really know because like I'm just in this business, so I don't really know if this career would be like good. I don't know.
It depends. Like the career is what you make out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like it depends really what you want to go. Like if you want to make design work for people, like if you want to work in an agency, or if you want to work like in house, or if you want to be freelance, the opportunities are endless.
I mean, I'm trying to be freelance, but I feel like I don't know if this is me, but I feel like it's kind of too like saturated because I've seen like a lot of people like on Twitter and stuff, and I feel like, and they're young too. They're young. They're like around my age, and I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm good enough to like be in this like area. I don't know how to explain it, but
Well, let's see. I understand. Like you feel you're too young and you haven't got enough experience to
yeah,
compete with people with
yeah,
better experience.
yes,
Yeah, I mean that is the case. Like the odds are forever not in our favor. It's not in my favor and it's not in anyone's favor. The only thing that we can do is keep posting work. And the difference between people choosing someone else to design their logo or their brand and people choosing me is because of my personality. So there's other things aside from just your work. You know, you could be the best designer on the planet, and you could be, you know, but the worst person to work with, you know, and then you'll never get anyone wanting to work with you. Or you could be the worst designer on the planet, but an amazing person to work with, and people would like to work with you. You see, I
yeah,
think like the way that we need to, what we need to do as like people, especially as young designers, I would suggest just changing the way. Oh, hello. He changed it so your screen's on now. Nice one. Um, But I would suggest changing the way that you're perceiving things, right? How do you perceive the situation you're in? Where do you want to go? If you don't have any vision or direction, then it can kind of like screw you up in the long run, right?
yeah. I mean, I was offered an internship at the university I want to go to, but I'm still like I'm still like hesitant about if I should um like start my own freelance graphic design business because I've seen people struggle like on social media, and I don't want to be that like graphic designer who's like constantly begging for work because to pay their bills and stuff. Like I don't know. I just
Well, let's say you don't have to be begging for work. Just get a different job and then do it as a side hustle. There's a really good book from a guy called Sean McCabe, called The Overlap Technique. And he can like, he helps people understand how to overlap from like doing their side hustle. So it could be graphic design to doing it full time. And it's all about, you have to put a lot of hours into it because when you finish your full-time job, you need to come home and do that. You know, on the weekends, you spend that doing your side hustle. Um, I mean, the design industry is a bit of a brutal industry in a lot of cases. Like a lot of people who are well known in the design industry will get some of the best opportunities. Now, all we can do is make sure that we, you know, can get to that level. And like, unfortunately, a lot of people don't, but fortunately, they live happy lives and it's all good. Like you could work in an agency for design and they would love that. And you can let an agency who like your work promote you. You know, it's all different. There's so many different avenues, but you have to remember that you yourself, it's not just about your work, it's about your personality that you put in that work. And no one else can do the work that you do. And don't get so down on the idea of, you know, oh, it's so saturated and things. No one else can do your kind of work. And it's something to be proud of. Like if you're doing design and you're struggling with, you know, the idea of having it as a full-time job, then just keep remembering that one day, if like it will happen, it's one of those things that takes time, but you can do it.
thank you.
It's cool. Did you have something you wanted to show me?
That's like most of my work because I haven't really like done enough work that I'm actually proud of to post. Those are just like the only two that I think that are good enough that I would post. Because like the other ones, I don't want to post like work that I'm not proud of.
Sure. No, no one does. And like, that's the same with any type of work, right?
Yeah.
Do you want? You had something on your screen a minute ago. Did you want me to see it?
Oh, the album cover?
Oh, I think it was you. I saw like a screen pop up on my.
I don't know why my laptop keeps turning off like every 3 seconds. So hold
Oh
on.
no, not. Oh no! It's the worst thing ever when the laptops do that, man.
I mean, I'm trying to save up for a MacBook because um I just think that if I'm trying to do this like seriously, that I need a like high quality laptop. And I was wondering like what MacBook you have or what laptop you have.
I just got the MacBook Pro. It just seems to be the easiest one to use. I mean, nowadays you don't need Apple things, but it's good to have them. It used to be like MacBooks were like the industry standard because they were good, but nowadays you don't technically need them.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna go and find. Oh, I've seen that work. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've shown people that. That's what I was talking about. It's just the type at the top.
Yeah, that's all I have.
No, it's cool. Don't worry. Like I think like keep practicing with your work and you'll get there. Don't put yourself down with it. A lot of designers do that, and you're not the only one who feels the way that you do. We all feel like that sometimes. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Thank you.
No problem. I'm going to talk to one more person and then I'm going. So it's really nice speaking to you.
You too. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye. Cool. Right. We're going on to the next. I'm going to go for Ivan. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Good. I think I'm finally kind of getting a feel.
I just saw some work on your screen.
That might have been somebody else.
Oh, really? Someone's work keeps popping up on my screen and I don't know how to stop it. Good to see you again, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks for the feedback. I will follow up on, I don't know if this will be posted, but I'll look at the Amazon stuff and find a book.
Yeah, man, I'm going to post this video. Don't worry. I'll post some. I'll try and find more of where I was going. More of the stuff that I need to give to you. Wait, let me repeat that because my brain's going dead now. I will find the resources for you and I'll put them in the description when this is uploaded, because there is a link where it takes you to a list of like books that I've got from that Amazon affiliate thing. But cool, man. Did you have another question?
Awesome. I guess just a small request, just when you do the redesigns or things of that nature, if you could kind of get some of more feedback, like every so often, like, oh, this is what I'm doing. You mentioned like when you copy, or copy and paste for different elements.
Oh yeah, is this in the last video?
Or shortcut. Yeah. Just little things like kind of walk people through your process.
Sure, yeah, that's the thing. I felt bad, and I'll tell you a little story. So when I was actually doing it, I felt bad because I go into this thing called like design mode where I just forget to talk because I'm so used to just sat here and I don't talk about it. And then like, lo and behold, in the video, like 10 minutes is gone and I haven't talked about it at all. But I need to come up with a better way of doing redesigns as a video, or like talking about my decisions more. And it might be Naomi has to like ask me questions whilst I'm doing it, or I like spend more time not doing it live, but then I explain it after I've done it, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I had some stuff that I would love to show you. I just don't have access to it now, so maybe I'll hop on the next one.
Yeah, totally, dude. It's so good speaking to you. I'm going to pop and quickly speak to someone else before we end the talk bit, but it's awesome speaking to you, dude.
All right, thanks.
No worries, man. Hello, BH Designs. Can you hear me? He must be in. He's probably muted his microphone because I can't hear him at all. How's everyone in the chat? Oh, it's good to see so many people in the chat. Someone had a question for me in the chat as well. Well, I'm going to stop the... actually, wait, I've got some other guy here. Hello. Can you hear me? Hey, what's going on?
Oh my god, this is so exciting.
Hey! Hang on, let me get you onto here. There we go. Now everyone can see you. How are you?
Following you literally for like 2 years. It's insane for me to be talking to you right now.
Oh, no way. Thank you for following me. Oh. I don't know why. You just like been muted.
Hello, can you hear?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah. Oh, hang on. I think BH Designs, I was talking to him before, but his mic wasn't working. But don't worry, carry on. It's all right. We'll get back to him.
Yeah, so I was just going to thank you for giving us so much like education on graphic design and Instagram and all that stuff.
No worries. It's really cool to help you with that. It's something that I love every day to do. So, yeah.
Awesome. So my question was more, so I'm a business student, and so I have nothing to do, like, I've never done a course on graphic design, things like that. I'm entirely self-taught. I'm mostly into like hand lettering and things like that. So my way of like making myself try to get better and practicing and stuff is going on Instagram and sharing with everyone so I can keep myself accountable and not forget it, because on a day-to-day basis, like, I have no connection with it, basically.
Sure.
But I really want to try to fund my lifestyle and stuff thanks to that. So my question would be like tips on getting your first client. I know you've talked about it a lot, but as someone who doesn't have, you know, the following and so the credibility of a lot of people on Instagram or online, just someone who's trying, like, who never actually got paid to do that, to do anything professional except with like friends, family, things like that. I'm trying to build up a portfolio, but as you can imagine, it's not always like, it's a tough industry.
It is tough. I think for someone who's like already got a job and then they're coming back and they're doing work after that on the hand lettering to try and fund the lifestyle, it's going to be difficult. Like, it's a big one. Because, like, like, even I struggle nowadays to do one whole type of, like, you know, one hand lettering piece a day, unless it's just one word. Like, as you may have seen, like, my Instagram amount that I've uploaded has gone down. Because, like, there was a point of when I was just work. So I'd finish work at the office and then I would go home and do work until I went to bed.
Oh my God.
Although it was fun. I think with hand lettering, the industry at the minute is not something to blame onto. So don't attach blame on saturation onto them, because in fact, hand lettering is becoming more and more popular with companies. I think the way that you can break through in an industry with hand lettering is by identifying solutions that you can give to companies through your hand lettering. So whereabouts do you live? What state do you live in?
I actually live in Brussels, in Belgium.
You live in Brussels? You sound American. No way.
I am actually, but I've lived all over. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So
how's Brussels?
That's one of the things that makes me want to have like a freelance kind of work life, because I never know where I'm going to be living in like 6 months.
Sure.
So yeah, I really want to do things online rather than...
I think like online, this is one of the things I tell my friends and people around me when, because like a lot of people, they really go, oh, your life, it must be so fun. You get to like go to work whenever you want. And like, you know, and I'm like, kind of.
Work every single hour of the day.
Yeah. And I'm just like, yes, like I can choose the 1 hour off the day I don't work, basically. I think, you know, just for anyone else, not just for you, but for anyone else who's listening in on this, like freelance is just as hard as a normal job. It's just different parts of it's hard. Yeah. Like, you know, it's not simple or easy in any job. And like, I don't want to let anyone think that it is simple or easy. I think in respects to you with becoming freelance, it's all about breaking away into a segment of a market. So for instance, instead of being commissioned to do your hand lettering, why don't you sell products with the hand lettering on? So you could build something around that, right? Like on your Instagram, instead of just showing your hand lettering, you could build a brand really easily of hand lettering that you've already done that you can just simply repurpose into motivational posters. Or even, you know, you could, like, not saying this in a weird way, but, you know, women's rights, you could actually shove a load of content online for that. And surprisingly enough, content like that is very profitable. I don't obviously condone doing things just for the profitability, but if you're someone that's into, you know, being sort of like doing social justice, why don't you use your hand lettering to provide people with materials that they can, you know, wear, or like in a mug. There's so many websites now where we can do drop shipping.
Yeah.
So I feel like Ty Lopez right now, but I swear I'm not Ty Lopez. But like, he did drop shipping, right? He was just doing, you know, getting people to buy stuff that he's never seen before in his life, and he's just sending it to their house through the drop shipping service. I think with design, there's loads of websites like Teespring that you can start to use.
Society 6 and Redbubble, actually.
Yes. So what my recommendation for you, like personally, is instead of like looking for a commission, start selling products on those websites and start, you know, building an email following, like an email list. I have an email list that I don't really publicize because I've got YouTube at the minute, which is still, it's still going all right for now, but it's the same with me. I'm trying to explain this in the best way possible. I think in my life, when I started doing design work, I knew I couldn't do it normally. I had to do it in a weird way. So I just started posting videos about it. And that's what happened. And it worked because I broke the mold. In hand lettering, there's not many people now that are willing to put their work on like items and materials. They're more likely just to put work online and then try and get commissions, you know. So maybe think about posters, t-shirts and things, and when you sell that, you can even branch out, and you never know where it goes. People might want to buy 100 orders of a certain item for their website for them to sell, and then you've just sold wholesale to them, you know. That's what I would say. It's probably the easiest way to break into the industry, because then you're not waiting for companies to commission you. You're in essence commissioning yourself for a product, and you can create the story behind that.
Yeah, sure.
Does that help?
It does. It actually does. I just think, like, obviously not having a huge following or anything, it's all about like driving the traffic to those platforms. So yeah, you do create a product that you're proud of and you'd like to see people wear or whatever, but unfortunately, since nobody's on your page in the first place, it's hard to yeah. But I mean, it's a part of the journey, I guess.
It is. It's part of the journey, and it's a hard one because you never know what's going to happen. And like, I think that's the biggest thing with designers and creatives. Like, we all want to know, especially with YouTube right now. YouTube's recommendation system has gone down the pan. So there's always like things in my life, you know, where I'm just like, well, why am I not hitting that many views anymore? And I find out YouTube's broken. Or like, you know, in certain areas of my design business, of like, why am I getting like these different clients when I wanted these clients, you know? Or, you know, there's a lot of different things. And I think everything as a community we can do as designers and creatives, we should be helping each other. I'm trying to say something here, but it's hard to say because I'm so tired. But
preach. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
But it's so nice speaking to you, though.
Awesome. Would you mind giving me 2 minutes on like feedback on a post?
Sure. Go for it.
Let me just show you. For example, can you see or not?
I can see.
Okay, perfect.
Seek what sets your soul on fire. That's cool.
Trying to do. Or this post right here.
Oh, that's cool as well. Yeah, I think if you go back to your first post, go back to the first one. So the only thing that I would say here is you've got a lot of things that are overlapping some of the type. Now that could be a style that you've set. So you see the words what sets, that's sort of overlapping seek and your. I think it might be more beneficial if you to space them out a bit more. So give them room to breathe if you're to do that. And when you do that, if you give them room to breathe, on fire could be symmetrical, because with hand lettering compositions, it's important to keep it symmetrical and balanced. Or not symmetrical, but more balanced than symmetrical, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing there is on fire, like the hand lettering itself is amazing, but all I want to do is go inside of that screen and move on fire to the middle. If that makes sense, because the seek your is great, and then what sets is awesome because it runs through the middle on a slant, and then soul on fire, just center it and it would just be right there. It would look great.
Awesome.
Does that help?
It does, actually. Just hearing someone like external to like my point of view is always good to have, you know. Sometimes when you're too focused on something, you can't have perspective on it.
Oh yeah, you get tunnel vision. I'm like that all the time, you know.
Yeah, I try to get as much feedback as possible. Just last thing, this one, for example, I don't really have. I'm always overwhelmed when I do like long pieces, like with a lot of words. So
Yeah,
I try
same.
to balance it out as much as possible, but I'm never sure that it's working out.
I think you've done a great job there. You've kept it simple and it's balanced. I think the only thing that I know what you're talking, is it the words that are very small, like on the top and the bottom of impossible? Is that where you're getting a bit funny about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's always going to be a hard one.
Possible.
There's not much to really, like, I think the only way you could do it is making it extra small or finding a typeface or a type style that would work better for really small letters, sort of like a monoline or mono-spaced typeface, which is like, you know, have you ever heard of Dan Drawn Words?
Yeah.
He does them a lot, like, and he can get it really small and it looks great. So maybe thinking about that instead of, like, the smaller the type is, the simpler you want it to be so people can see it and the mind doesn't have to like look at it for too long to work out what it's saying, if that makes sense. So yeah,
Totally.
Great work though. It looks amazing.
Awesome. Thanks. It means a lot coming from you.
No worries. Really nice speaking to you. I'm going to finish this chat show up because I just realized I feel like a chat show right now.
Thanks a lot for taking the time and have an amazing night.
No problem. You too. See you soon.
Bye. Say hi to Naomi.
I will do. She's probably getting mad at me. But that's good. No, she's good. See you soon. Guys, check that out. Isn't that insane? Let me get some more music back on here so we can chill out. Ooh, that's loud. Whoa. Well, guys, that is like part of the stream right there. I'm going to look at the chat for a bit. We're not done yet. I'm going to answer some questions from the chat. And I'm going to turn that down a bit. I didn't realize it'd be that loud. My days. What's going on with YouTube? Guys, so it's been awesome having everyone on the stream. I really appreciate people coming in and like giving their thoughts and like asking for help. It's good seeing so many people here as well. If you guys haven't already, please remember to press that red subscribe button. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit more is the YouTube, what's going on here. Recently, I don't know if you've noticed, but the YouTube recommendations have like gone downhill. And I'm not supposed to talk about it too much because it might bore some of you. But what I'm trying to do with YouTube at the minute is we've been creating more content and working extremely hard to get this content out to you guys. And it can be difficult sometimes because we're trying to like appease everyone because I'm a hand lettering artist and a logo designer and things like that. So the content that I'm trying to get out to you guys is supposed to fit a wide variety of you guys who come in for design work and then like, you know, obviously hand lettering work as well. And as you can see, like the channel, it seems to be a bit dead at the minute. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do is, if you're a fan of the channel, and only if you're a fan of the channel, is just to press that red subscribe button and to turn on post notifications. Because at the minute, since the whole YouTube thing of them, you know, when you'd be watching videos and go into that wormhole of suggested videos, they sort of stopped it for a lot of YouTubers in my sort of level, and that's meant that, you know, a lot of our views have gone down, and that's worried me a bit. But I found out today that it's probably because of this new recommendation thing that YouTube are doing. So if you are a fan, I just want to say, press that red subscribe button with post notifications on, because that it doesn't, YouTube are really bad at recommending. And just so you all know, I upload from on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and normally right now I'm going to be streaming on Thursdays as well normally. And then also, if you wanted to become a member of the channel by pressing that join button, you can do. And what that allows you to do is be part of the live streams that I'm going to be doing later on in a month's time, or in a few weeks time. So share this with your friends. If you've got any design communities, I would appreciate it to the end of the world. Guys, it's been awesome having you on the stream. If you've got any questions, leave it in the chat. It's amazing to see this community come together to help each other. It's, I don't know, it makes my heart feel happy when everyone's in here. But I'm going to go and relax now for a bit and send some emails for client work, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon. Goodbye. All right, just me. Naomi's just told me that I forgot to answer some questions, and I'm changed back into a new shirt, and there's half the amount of people here. Guys, sorry for not answering the questions. I got a bit out of control there for a second. Turn that music down again. So first off, before I answer the questions, and I will remember to answer them now after this, I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow, or a post tomorrow, about the new design challenge. I've got a video coming out tomorrow as well, so stay tuned for it, and it's all about the process of me designing the Tech Now logo in my way. So make sure you stay for that. And yeah, like that's the video for tomorrow. The design challenge will be told in there, so you have to watch the whole of the video to find out. And then I'll give you some tips and tricks and hopefully a template so you can upload it easier, and we'll make the whole process a little bit easier. Yeah, sorry guys, a bit awkward. I've just come back after getting changed. Naomi telling me, you said you would do this and I forgot. Sorry. What was the questions? Someone's going to have to tell me the questions again, because like a dyslexic man reading the chat is never a good thing. But I would like to read the questions. I think there's questions. Yeah, people are surprised. Yeah, surprise! I'm back. We were just weeding off the people that didn't think that I'd come back. This is like the lock-in. Oh, Kevin, you've got a question for me. Man, I hate there's like this stream delay. No problem, Campbell. Good to see you, Campbell. Lavish asks Will, I DM a lot of people for asking to purchase a logo design from me. How should I make it so I don't appear to be selling or spammer? Go to... instead of DMing people, the best way to deal with it would be to put your work on Instagram and tell them that it is available to sell, or have a website. So instead of like DMing people a certain logo, DM them your website, or just like market yourself. Create something that will market yourself in the community. So for instance, maybe like if you have loads of logos that you want to do, go online onto Instagram, put them on your Instagram, say these are up for you, I'm selling these designs, anyone who wants them, you can have them, and just see what happens, and keep posting logos until someone buys them, and you'll start to see traction. That'll be less selly, you know. I hope that answers the question. Let's have a look. Naomi's having fun in the chat. Yeah, basically a lead funnel, yeah. That's the best way of doing it, I think. In all honesty. Oh, I don't have a Spotify music playlist, Christos. It's on Epidemic. You guys are a nice community. Doodling Potato says, hi, my question is whether we should have the same projects on both our website and PDF portfolio, repeat them on both platforms. Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, it depends. Like, if you've got a PDF portfolio, that's normally a good thing to send to someone, like a designer agency. If you have, like, Instagram, that's sort of the same thing as online. I think a portfolio online is designed for clients to come and look at it, or agencies to look at your work, or you know, if you're trying to be represented by someone, it's important to have people on there to have a portfolio online so people around the world can see it. But when it comes to PDFs, it's good to have the same work on there as well, so you can physically hand the work to someone and not just say, you know, check out my website, if that makes sense. My question is, do you really need these days a website to sell logos because of social media? No, you don't need a website at all. Although a website is great for your own little corner of the internet. A website is a place where you are no longer influenced. Hello, this music is doing my head in. A website is a place where you no longer have to be influenced by social media, and you could customize the website to be more of what you want it to be, if that makes sense. Do you have people pay for logos on your website? I set up web commerce, but I'm wondering if that is a good way to go. Yeah, so Campbell, we what we do is we have a funnel online on our website. So the way that it kind of goes is like this. So people go to my YouTube channel or my Instagram and they see my work. Well, they see it on Instagram and they search me online. They find my YouTube channel. Then they find my website. And then on my website, they look at my work even more. They see a bit more about me. And then they go to the contact form. The contact form is actually one of the best places on my website because it's where people want to go. So that's why I have a website. But you don't need one. I mean, web commerce might be good, but I think it's not about getting them to pay through there. It's about starting a conversation. We do all of our conversations through email and then talking face to face. Leo Lucas says, I'd recommend you talk to them directly to determine the value of the project. Yep. Yeah, I do agree. I don't understand your question. Oh, here we go. My question, my youngest brother just finished high school. He's confused between graphic design or business management. He has a good freehand sketching skill without training. How do I help him make the right choice? You can't help him, really. You just tell him what do you want to do. I mean, he could do business management and do design on the side. But you never know. What's going on, guys? Good to see you, man. Naomi does not do design. Naomi is very creative, though. She's written a children's book. And she's also the best wife you could ever have, so. Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's it. I think I've answered some of your questions. If I seem tired, it's because I am. Been working all day and then now this. So it's good to see so many people in here. Watch out for that video tomorrow. And if you like this, share it on your community. Share it on Facebook and Twitter. And it'll be great to see you all tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a good night. This is the proper ending. Can I leave? I think I can. Okay. This time for real, guys. You turn to tell. Awesome. See you soon, guys.